Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. It's Politi-tics on a Saturday night, and I'm your host, Jake Johnson, and tonight we're going to talk about the fight of the century that was not. And we're going to talk about Trump's picks for cabinet. It is a humzinger. How are you doing? How's your weekend so far? Are you getting into any trouble? Are you doing good things, bad things, indifferent things? Are you chaotic, neutral? What's going on in your world? Tell me all about it. All right. First in chat is Linda Davis. She says, hi, Amanda and Jake. Hi, how are you? Linda, you get the gold star. You're first in chat. Amanda says, hi, UntetheredLive family. Good to see you all. Happy Saturday. Smiley, smiley. I hope everybody had a good day. Hi. Yeah. Can't complain. It's a very sleepy day. I got up this morning, went to work, worked about 4 hours, came home, worked another hour or so, and slept the rest of the time. And ate. That's it. It's a good day. Nobody died. Linda, here's your gold star. Amanda says, hi, Linda, hun. How's your knee feeling tonight? How are you? How are you feeling? How are things? Is it working out? Are you getting her done? I hope it's not causing you too much distress. Fab Daddy, what's up? He says, sup, peeps. Good to see you, Fab. How you doing, buddy? Everything all right with you? Something's wrong here. I can't see my chat. Can't see my chat. Did I press the button? Okay. Colin Hill, the biddle says, the damn fight was rigged. Yes. I don't think it was rigged as much as I think that they knew each other personally and they're friends, and they put on a exhibition fight, which in the old days meant that nobody got hurt and everybody got paid. And I think that's the way it was. In reality, Mike Tyson is pushing 60. He's 58 years old, and he has no business fighting a real fight, let alone one with a 27-year-old monster, even though Mike Tyson is himself a monster and hits like a Mack truck. And I've seen him knock down many, many heavyweight champions in the first round. He is a baller, none of which was on display last night. I don't know what you call that, but it wasn't a fight. They basically danced for an hour and exchanged a couple of bumps on the noggin. I never even saw Mike Tyson put on a full-throated swing, you know what I'm saying? He didn't attack. There were several times he could have hit Jake Paul and didn't. Like Jake Paul had his hands down. His face was exposed. All Mike Tyson would have had to do was pop him in the nose, and he didn't do it. So you can't tell me that with the years of experience and many, many, many championship battles under his belt, that Tyson didn't know all of the plays that could be played in that moment and have them in his mind and ready to go. He did. Obviously, he wasn't trying to hurt Jake Paul. He never even rushed him, not even once. Not once in 8 rounds, 8 2-minute rounds, not once did he step in. And if he'd have stepped in, Jake Paul would have lost immediately because he's no match for Mike Tyson, even at age 60. So you tell me what you think. That's what I saw. I saw two guys making millions of dollars regardless of who wins, and Jake Paul being set up as the next thing because Mike Tyson, face it, is not going to be boxing anymore. He might do an exhibition here or there, but he's not in the game anymore. So he's setting his buddy Jake Paul up to be the next guy. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. What say you? I defer to the infinite wisdom of the chat. Let's see here. Colin says, the fight was rigged because they played Tyson to lose. Well, that's kind of what I'm saying. Patty Donahue says, hey, guys, America with sunglasses and white power with headphones and a microphone. That sounds like me. How are you, Patty? Good to see you. They paid Tyson to lose. Well, they paid both of them. Doesn't matter if they won or lost. See, that's the thing. The best thing that could have happened for boxing would be Mike Tyson to knock Jake Paul out in round 1, except for the fact that the rules were you had to go 4 rounds before it to be qualified. So if he won in round 3, it wouldn't have passed. They would have disqualified it because the rules state you have to go at least 4 rounds in an 8-round exhibition fight. So Also, they had a rule that said no matter how many times you got knocked down, that couldn't disqualify either one, although nobody got knocked down. So, it was a very boring fight. There wasn't a lot going on. Fab Daddy says that Cyrano fight was rigged. Cyrano de Bergerac. Look at you reaching into literary cynicism. Boop. I'm sorry. Amanda says, hi, Fab Daddy, and Colin and Patty. And Colin says, and Tyson's fight too. Chickens. Because they paid him to lose. Well, no, they didn't pay him to lose. It doesn't matter if he wins or loses. That's what I was trying to say. If he would have been Mike Tyson and knocked Jake Paul out in round 1, the world would have got the heavyweight champion back, and it would have been good for Tyson and good for boxing and good for everything. If Jake Paul would have knocked Mike Tyson out in any round, then he would be instantly the most hated man in boxing because he just knocked out the champ. Everybody knows Tyson's the champ. Who is this young, arrogant, cocky feller knocking out the champion? You shouldn't do that. You should show him respect. And so that wouldn't have worked. So they couldn't have done that. That's why it basically was a draw. They basically, neither one of them really hit each other, but maybe a couple of times, a couple of little, no black eyes or anything, just a couple of little swats. Nothing full power even. All they did basically was sweat a lot and breathe a lot and dance around a lot. And every now and then they'd get close enough to tap each other. It was not what I would consider a good boxing match. There wasn't even one moment, not one moment in 8 rounds that even was exciting. It was just, we made it to the next bell. Okay. Mike Tyson was having problems with his mouthpiece. He kept adjusting it. I don't know what that was all about, but here's the thing. They made millions of dollars on that fight. There was 70,000 people in that arena, and Netflix was watching and crashing because so many people was watching it. So they made bank, both of them. Netflix gave Jake Paul a diamond-encrusted gold watch, probably worth millions of dollars. He was showing it off on the internet today. I don't know what they did for Mike Tyson. But the whole thing, the bad guy, good guy thing, that was scripted because they're friends. They know each other personally. They know each other's families. The whole thing with the pigeon and Mike Tyson slapping him in the weigh-ins and all that, that was all hype to get people excited for the fight. The fight was less dangerous than the weigh-in because Mike Tyson actually slapped Jake Paul in the weigh-in hard. That's the hardest hit he threw the whole fight. Interesting. Fat Daddy said Tyson stopped fighting after round 2. I know. He was just basically, there was several times he could have pummeled Jake Paul and he didn't do it. He was just standing there, letting Jake do his thing. I thought he was trying to tire him out, and in round 8 he was come out swinging. He never did. I don't know why. He absolutely, has anybody watched his training videos where he was preparing for this fight? He absolutely has the energy and the capacity to knock Jake Paul into next week. He absolutely could. He didn't. He didn't even try. I never even saw him swing hard. He was basically just, tapping him here and there. He didn't even really give him an uppercut or anything. There's nothing. But you're right, Fab Daddy. He stopped fighting. He wasn't fighting. Age. I don't think it was age. Watch the training videos. He's definitely got more than I've got. I can tell you that. Look at his arms. Pure, just rips. It's crazy. Tyson did have a great slap during the weigh-ins. I know, that was the hardest hit of the whole fight. And the most violent, fastest move that Tyson made the whole fight was to smack Jake Paul. Linda says, I'm a mom. Nothing can keep me down. I know that's right. Yep. Moms can pull it out no matter what's going on. Amanda said Tyson slapped him harder than he ever punched him in the ring. Right. And right, Linda, you go, girl, says Amanda. And Fab Daddy says, Netflix sucks. Yes, it does. Servers couldn't handle the volume because they've never had an event like that before. Ordinarily, and you notice that it wasn't pay-per-view. It was Netflix, but not pay-per-view. Why? Because everybody would have been pissed if they'd have paid big money to watch that fight, because that wasn't much of a fight. So people won't grumble too much about Netflix. Maureen Flood says, hi, gang. Hey, Maureen, how are you? Welcome to Politi-tics. Tonight we're talking about Trump's cabinet picks and the fight of the century with Mike Tyson, Iron Mike Tyson against YouTuber Jake Paul. Guess what? I could have fought better than that, and I can't fight, so. Sorry, my chat jumped. Oh, here we go. Amanda says, hi, Maureen, and right, Fab Daddy. Maureen says, hey, Amanda. And Colin says, no, he did not fight. Can see he knows how much damage he could do. Yeah, I don't think that he wanted to hurt Jake. That's what I'm saying. I've watched Mike Tyson's fights all my life. I've seen him come out with a singular focus, ready to kill the guy in the next corner, you know. He didn't have that look on his face. Go watch the fight. He didn't look like that. Go watch all of his other fights. He's a maniac. He wants to attack. He wants to destroy the guy in the other corner. This one, it was just like two buddies hanging out. They hugged each other at the end. Come on. It wasn't even a taxing fight. I don't even know why they were out of breath. They didn't do anything. Fab Daddy says, I thoroughly enjoyed both title fights. The chicks were really getting after it. I don't know their names, but they fought way better than Tyson and Paul did. That girl had the big cut on her eye, or her eyebrow was hanging down. Yeah, that was a good fight. I saw it. I didn't see what came before that, though. So I know there were a couple of guys fighting lightweight, but I don't know who they were. Even the preliminary fights were better than the main event. Yes, absolutely. Fab Daddy, they absolutely were. Maureen says, liked and shared. Thank you, Maureen. I appreciate you. Amanda says, thanks, Maureen. Maureen says, anytime, Amanda. Rachel Floyd's in the house. She says, hello. Hello, Rachel. How art thou? Good to see you. Amanda says, hell, the chick fight before was hitting harder than Tyson and Paul were. I know, they were like pummeling each other. Those two girls were after it. Paul and Tyson were just sparring. Would you call it sparring? I don't think so. I didn't see even where you could get a busted lip doing anything like that. But also, here's another thing that most people don't realize because we're probably not boxing fans, but they were wearing 14-ounce gloves, which is training gloves. They're very padded. So they were protected even with the gloves. I think regular is like 10 ounces or 9 ounces, something like that. I'm not sure, but I do know that there was some question about the weight of the gloves and that they were training gloves, not standard boxing gloves. That paired with all the rules that they had made it a very easy fight that nobody was reasonably worried about actually getting hurt. And it's probably because Mike Tyson's 60 years old and they were afraid that Jake Paul would like dislocate something or break a hip. This probably was part of it. I don't know. Amanda's, I read that one. Rachel says, y'all realize Tyson got paid bank to lose Mayo? Yes, that's what I was saying earlier. It doesn't matter who won that fight. The only thing that matters is what people perceive of it. If Tyson would have won, it would have been great comeback, you know. He's still the champ. All that would have, you know, it'd have been great for publicity and great for Netflix and all that. If Jake Paul would have won, like knocked Mike Tyson out, then he would become the most hated man in boxing, but it would be great for Netflix because everybody would be talking about it. So either way you go, it really doesn't matter. Maybe that's why they didn't, you know, tangle up so tight because it really didn't matter. I mean, they could have just stood there. They made their money. That arena was full. And there was so many people watching Netflix, they were crashing every 5 minutes. So, yeah, they made big money on that. Sorry excuse for a fight. Dakota Wright says, hey, Dakota, nice to see you. Amanda says, hi, Rachel. And hi, Dakota. And Rachel says, I really hope y'all don't believe that fight was real, LOL. Well, it was a real fight, all right. It just wasn't a good fight. They were there. It actually happened. It wasn't CGI. It just wasn't good. They didn't hurt each other in any way. I don't think they even bruised each other in any way. But you go watch the fight before them, the two girls, that was a real fight. They were tearing each other apart. Dakota says, how was your evening, Amanda? Amanda says, LOL. No, we don't, Rachel. It's great, Dakota. And Rachel says, okay, good, Amanda, because I was about to say. And Amanda says, LOL, Rachel. Maureen says, those fights have never interested me, LOL. I'm not a big fight fan either, but I am a Mike Tyson fan. And that's the reason I wanted to watch it, because I grew up watching Mike Tyson. You know, they had a video game called Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. So that's part of my childhood. So, yeah, I wanted to see it. But I'm not a big... If I were going to watch fighting, I'd watch MMA better than anything else. I think boxing is very technical, and there's a lot of rules and regulations and certain ways you have to do things, and it's actually kind of boring to watch unless you know what all the rules are, and then you can analyze what they're doing and how they're doing it and how well they're doing it, and then it's more fun to watch if you know what every move means. If you're just watching two guys pummel each other, it's kind of boring. But I don't blame you. Anita Jobby. You need a jobby? Well, go fill out an application. How about that? And your message is deleted. You can't talk like that here. Fab Daddy says, hats off to those female boxers. But headbutting? Leave that to us guys. Yeah, they were killing each other, those two girls. They really gave it all they got. And then at the end, that one girl that won, I guess that was her trainer or her husband. I don't know who he was. Mansplaining for her. Wouldn't even let her talk. She's the winner. She just fought the fight. And here's this dude doing all the talking. Kind of weird. Amanda says, LOL, Fab. The one girl had her eyebrow split wide open. Why the hell women want to do that to themselves is beyond me. Shaking my head. Funsky 40. You can't talk like that, Clay. Y'all can't talk like that. I don't even see the message. It gets deleted before I ever get to it. You're wasting your breath. Eider, behave yourselves. You want to have a good conversation, we can have that. You want to come in here and act like a fool, you get booted out. That's your warning. Just kidding, you rule, says Clay. Thank you, Clay. You rule too. Bill Bennett, what's up, buddy? He says, what's happening all? It was all about the money. Still pros. Yeah, they made a lot of money on that exhibition fight. Amanda says, hi, Bill. And Amanda says, y'all take that shit elsewhere or join in and have a decent conversation with each. Either way, you got to get out of here or you got to stay and behave. Freedom Crew says, we have been trying to contact you regarding your car extended warranty. Well, if I had a car, Freedom, that might be something I was interested in. John H. says, hello all. Hey, John. Good to see you, buddy. How'd you like the fight? Did you watch the fight? Are you interested in the fight? Amanda says, hi, John. By the way, everybody, like, subscribe, share, support, join, and super chats are available in the chat box if you want to show a little love. Also, hit that Cash App, $ Jake Johnson Band, or if you're a PayPal user, paypal.me/JakeJohnsonBand. This episode is brought to you by this here hot cup of coffee. Don't you want to have a cup of coffee with me and reminisce over Trump's cabinet picks? If so, go to the kitchen, pour yourself a nice hot cup, and let's get this conversation going. If you don't have a cup, though, you can get one in the description below. I recommend the first one. It has my face on it. It's fantastic. Makes coffee good. It also makes whatever I say sound better. So get you one. And thank you. Chocolate Addict says, do I know Jesus? Not personally. Do you? If so, where'd you meet? Fab Daddy says, I like boxing over MMA. I don't want to watch guys wrestle. Well, that's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. Jeff Green says, what are you drinking? Coffee. What are you drinking? Nice to meet you, Jeff. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Bill Bennett says, I wouldn't want to be up by a girl. I wouldn't want to be beat up by a girl, but I'm pretty sure they could. Beat you up? Well, them girls could, for sure. Money grab, I think. I think you're right about that, John. Jeff says, that was a sissy fight. I agree. I don't think that was worthy of Mike Tyson. And if I were Mike Tyson, I would be ashamed to have done such a thing. However, I've never been Mike Tyson, and he did own tigers at one time, so it's very possible he needed the money. And, why say no to millions of dollars? So I don't know. I don't want to judge him on that because I don't know what it's like to be him and to be offered that kind of deal at the age he is, knowing he's not going to be boxing anymore. He's not going to be world champion anymore. He's 60 years old. That's over, He's a figurehead now, an icon, but no more boxing for real. So, yeah, if I had a chance to make millions of dollars one more time, I'd do it too, probably. Linda says, Tyson lived near us in New Jersey for a while. When he would get into fights with his wife, there would be furniture and stuff on the front yard the next day. Yeah, I've heard about stuff like that. John says, I'm feeling a bit better tonight. That's fantastic, John. I'm glad to hear that. Did you get you some rest? Get some Theraflu in you or something? And Amanda says, good to see you, John. Or good to hear, John. Good to hear that you're feeling better. Jeff says, I'm getting ready to hit the sack. Well, Jeff, good night, buddy. Have a good night's sleep and wake up happy and peaceful, rested. Get out there and go get them tomorrow. And Jeff says, sure, it was for the money. What's he going to do now? Well, probably retire. I mean, maybe in another year or so, they'll have another exhibition fight where nobody gets hurt and nobody does anything for real. Who knows? But if people show up to see it, I say power to them. I'm not going to watch it because I watched this one and that wasn't fun. And Jeff says, I'd probably take that deal too in a heartbeat. Yeah, it's hard to judge somebody in that situation because you don't know what it's like. I mean, he's used to being the world champion. He probably had money out the wazoo at one time. But money don't last forever. And at some point, you're just an old man with lots of bills and a tiger. So, you probably need some money. Kendra Wood. Hey, darling. Hadn't seen you in a while. How are you doing? Nice to see you. She says, hey, everybody. Maureen says, hey, payday is a payday. That's right. And Jeff says, not in his hands anyway, right? Well, I think Mike Tyson is still the champion. I think that if you watch his training videos and his montages, you'll see, Fab Daddy hit me with a $1.99 super chat and says, have some of my apple doll hairs. Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Fab Daddy. God bless you, sir. Have some of my apple dollars. I like it. I got the pun, but what'd you do? Sell apples? Pick apples? Make apple juice? Steal apples and then sell them for $1.99? What do you mean? Amanda says, hi, Kendra. And Linda says, hey, Kendra, good to see you. And Amanda says, thanks, Fab. Kendra says, good to see y'all, too. I've just been sorting stuff out. I understand how that goes. Apple pie, says Jeff Green, LOL. That's right. By the way, guys, that link that is in the description above there, it's pinned at the top of the chat. That is my album, my music. If you want to own that album, you can go there and download it. It's free. Don't cost you anything, and there's nothing there but the album. So you can click that link or the 3 dots and go to the link. And this is for Amanda's work. Oh, Amanda got a super chat. $1.99 for Amanda. Thank you very much, Fab Daddy. Good man, sir. God bless you. Anyway, the only thing I ask in return is that you share the music with someone else if you dig what you hear. That's it. Get the word out. Spread it. Amanda says, oh, thanks, Fab Daddy. You're so sweet. Ain't he, though? That's awful nice, Fab. Thanks. Now I want apple pie. Thanks, Jeff. Now I'm hungry. So, all right. The next thing on the agenda is the zingers that Trump is throwing haymakers at the Democrats with his cabinet picks. And I think it's hilarious. It's hilarious to watch. And if he succeeds, it's going to be one interesting 4-year period. I can tell you that. Fab Daddy says, no, I'm just a crazy California liberal. I don't believe that for a second, Fab Daddy. Not even for a second. I think you're a very sensible man, and I appreciate you. However, those California liberals are losing their minds right now. It's quite funny. Bill says an apple crisp sounds amazing, and Big Don can pick the peeps he wants and needs. I agree. Well, we're going to go through the list of what he's got so far and see what you think about these people. Some of them I know, some of them I don't know. If you know them, awesome. If you don't, I'll read a little bit about the big ones. Maureen says, yeah, but the left has a stroke every time someone is announced, LOL. I know, it's funny. It's funny to watch them lose their minds. They're talking about all kinds of weird stuff right now. They're talking about putting together a shadow government to match Trump's cabinet and to block him from everything he tries to do. Now, explain to me, the people last week that were talking about democracy, now they're trying to subvert democracy. There's people claiming that the election was stolen by Elon Musk. Explain to me how he did that. Anyway, apple dumplings, yummy, says Amanda. Man, y'all need to stop. I'm salivating over here. My mustache is tingling. Stop it. John says, Trump thanked about 100 people in his speech. Which one? Did he have a speech today? Is that what you're referring to? Yeah, he's got a lot of people pulling for him right now. Jeff says, I don't have a dog in this fight, but things are smelling well for the next 4 years. I agree, Jeff. And Amanda says, yes, Jeff, agreed. Yeah, I think if he's able to pull off what he's trying to pull off, if he can get the people in place like the DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency that they're putting together with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy at the head of it. And their main job is to pare back all of these letter agencies and all of these redundant departments that are all over the government that there's 20 people doing the job of one person. That's their job, is to split that off and give them a severance package and make them go into the into the private sector and get out of government. That's what DOGE is supposed to be doing. If they can pull that off, the government is going to become more efficient in the next 4 years on an order we haven't experienced in a very long time. And that's quite interesting to think about the prospects of what that could be, because the people that do stay, their jobs will become more important and more will get done because there's less bureaucracy in the way of progress, which ironically is the opposite of Congress, I might add. Maureen says, did you see the video of the young man who educated his teacher and classmates on Trump? Or tried to. He was awesome. I haven't seen it, but if you'll tell us what his name was, we'll look it up. Fab Daddy says, Matt Gaetz got thrown a bone. Well, Matt Gaetz is no slouch. He is one excellent litigator, for one thing. He's a very smart guy. He's successful in what he's attempted to do, and they have vetted him in the way of accusing him of things and then investigating him and then finding out he wasn't guilty of those things a lot. So he's a good pick, I think, and he's loyal to Trump, which is another very important thing for his administration. So I think that's a good pick. There's a couple of people I don't see on that list that I would like to see on that list, but I'm just a dreamer, and I know it's probably not ever going to happen. If it was up to me, I'd have Kid Rock and Tucker Carlson and Joe Rogan and Russell Brand and all these guys, Dave Rubin. I'd have Tim Pool, Secretary of State, something like that, or a press secretary. Alex Jones. Come on, man. Let's make a cabinet. But no, that's never going to happen. But I think the picks he's making are wise picks. Like Caroline Leavitt for press secretary. She's a little bulldog, like the previous one, Kayleigh McEnany, who was also vicious and they couldn't get one over on her for nothing. And I think this girl's coming up is going to be the same way, and that's going to be awesome. Yes, RFK is going to be Department of Health and Services. That's going to be good. John says, I'm glad school will be school again under Trump. Yeah, me too. I hope that he can achieve that. The school system is no joke. They have dug in like a tick, and that teachers union is not anything to play with. If he can get through all of that, if he can change the Department of Education and get it into something decent and get school back to actually teaching children school stuff, that will be fantastic. I don't know that he can pull that off, but I hope he can. I'm praying that he does. Amanda says, what gets me is Biden is trying to work something with China and all them leaders. It will never go anywhere. They want Trump to, yes. Well, the leaders of the foreign countries, the ones that everybody is all up in arms about, have all capitulated to Trump in the news over the last week. All of them. All of the big ones. They've all said that they're going towards Trump's foreign policies instead of away from. They've all called for ceasefires and lowering the temperature and all of that stuff within the first week of him winning, which is what he said would happen. So, well, shit, liberals. You just can't have nothing, can you? And yeah, Biden is trying to make use of his last week or two in office by doing something or appearing to do something, which is probably only possible because Trump softened the blow because they wouldn't talk to him last month. Maureen says Officer Tatum did one of the videos, and I don't know the kid's name. Well, I know who Officer Tatum is. I'll check that out. Trying to educate the teachers on Trump, huh? Yeah, a lot of those teachers, they know very well who Trump is, but they are staunch liberals, and they got TDS big time. Fab Daddy says, I think RFK Jr. will be good in his role. I think so too, because RFK Jr. is a very smart man. And see, he's a Democrat who I would actually vote for, except for the fact that he's a Democrat, and the Democrats right now have gone batshit crazy. So in my opinion, you can't vote for a Democrat right now, because if you do, you're voting for their policies and what they're going to vote on, and that we can't have, because that's what's got us in this world as it is in the first place. It is absolutely those Democrats' fault. That's not to say all Democrats. I know quite a few Democrats that are very intelligent, very well-minded, very good people who lean liberal in their ideologies, but not so much in their, common sense. But these people, these new people, this new left, I call them leftists. Well, I don't. People call them leftists. They're not actually Democrats. They just are in charge of the Democratic Party right now. But they're actually progressives, and progressives are mental, in my opinion. What do I know? I'm just a guy with a camera and a microphone and a mustache. You can't trust me. I want raw milk, says Fab Daddy. Suck a cow. Why would you want raw milk? Everybody knows you pasteurize it. Or milk the cow yourself, one or the other. What you're trying to say is you want milk that's delivered to you daily, because if it lasts longer than a day, it goes bad. Bring back the milkman. Single-handedly responsible for a generation of children. Amanda says, okay, Maureen, thanks. We'll watch Officer Tatum too. Or we watch Officer Tatum too. And Maureen says, I'll be glad when Fauci gets prosecuted for all the harm he is doing and done. I don't know if he's going to be, because he's been a government bureaucrat for many, many, many years. In fact, remember in the 80s when the AIDS epidemic was going on? All of that was Fauci, the government stuff that was going on. That was him. He's been doing it a long time. So I don't know if he's going to get prosecuted, but it would be nice to see, because he has definitely done some bad stuff. And matter of fact, I think RFK has a book about Fauci. I can't remember the title of it, but it's the latest book that he came out with. And it lays out in detail some of the things that Fauci was doing, and it's not good. By the way, if you guys hadn't checked out our new Facebook page yet, go by facebook.com/UntetheredLive family, all one word, UntetheredLive family. It's a great place to keep up with each other on a personal level, send videos, pictures, and chats and all of that stuff, and keep up with all things Untethered Live Universe right there on facebook.com/UntetheredLive family. Go check it out. Thank you. Fab Daddy says, I heard Trump will release all federal education to the states. I think that may be his plan. I don't know if it's going to work out that way, but if he has the power to do it, he should. Because I think this individual states could control education better than the government could. Amanda says, you can't talk to someone who can't have a conversation. True. Both metaphorically and literally. You can't talk to somebody who can't have a conversation anyway, because that's how you do it with a conversation. John says, even our British Prime Minister kissing Trump's ass. Probably so. And it's an ass deserved to be kissed because, like it or not, like Trump or not, the man has made waves in all the foreign policies. The countries do respect him. I know that the Democrats have been saying for the last 4 years that they don't and that everybody thinks he's a joke. But I assure you, we're the only ones who think he's a joke, this country. If you go to North Korea, for example, that guy doesn't think he's a joke. You go to Russia, that guy doesn't think he's a joke. China doesn't think he's a joke. Arab of Emirates, or however you say that, they don't think he's a joke. So, he's done something. And that, by the way, is what we wanted. That's why we voted for him. Because he does something. As opposed to the last 4 years of, he's a Nazi. We hate Trump. Don't you hate Trump too? Well, what are you guys doing? Hating Trump. Didn't you hear me? That's not what we voted for you to do. You have to run the country now. You have it. Go. That's why America, with a resounding loud voice in unison, told the liberals to shut the hell up already. Clear mandate across the board. The presidency, the House, the Senate, all of it. States that were blue turning red. The whole country shifted right in this election, largely due to Kamala Harris's cackle. I think that's justified. What do you think? And I'm not even trying to promote Trump. I'm just saying that it's clear, it's obvious to anybody with more than one brain cell why he won the whole thing. It's clear. It's obvious. Even Bill Maher gets it. And he is terminally liberal. Maureen says, oh man, the teacher even told the kids he severed a long-time friendship because the friend voted for Trump. Yeah, there's actually a very dangerous trend going around on TikTok and all these other social media things where people are telling people to disown their families if they voted for Trump. That's not going to go well. And then there's the whole 4B thing. Have you guys heard about 4B, the movement that is going on with the uber woke liberal women who have decided that they're going to take themselves off the sexual marketplace, shave their heads, and refuse to have wild, unprotected, crazy, casual sex with men anymore until they stop voting for Trump? That's great news for us because we don't want to sleep with those fat lesbians anyway. But it's really bad news for Planned Parenthood. Because, that's how you get in that situation in the first place. Who'da thunk? Amanda said, I read that one. Lelaine Garcia. You can't talk like that in here, darling. Amanda says, right, John, because they know Trump don't play that shit. No, he does not. And even if he does, everybody thinks he's a loose cannon, and that's good enough. I used to make a joke until Arnold Schwarzenegger turned out to be a liberal lunatic, but I used to make the joke that we should vote in Arnold Schwarzenegger to be president because foreign policy would be easy. All we'd have to do is send out copies of Terminator to all the countries. Problem solved, right? That was a joke, but it's kind of true with Trump. All they got to do is hear the legend of what Trump is, and they freak out a little bit. This guy's got his finger on the nuclear weapons. Maybe we shouldn't provoke him. That works for me. I'm okay with that. Bill Bennett says brainwashed. Who's brainwashed, Bill? Fab Daddy says AOC is actually listening to her constituents that voted for her and Trump. Well, yeah, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but quietly over the last week, the pronouns that were on her social media have disappeared. So apparently she's walking back a little bit of her wokeness because she wants to keep her job after all, you know. I think that's funny. Bill says straight from the teat. That's how you get raw milk. That's right. Who were you saying was brainwashed? Maureen says, I'm trying to move mostly to Wimkin, a free speech platform, no censorship. I'm on Wimkin there, Maureen. You can check me out. It's under Jake Johnson, I think. I need to get that switched over to UntetheredLive, but it's in there. You can find it. But I'd much rather you be here talking to me live. But other than that, you can do everything else on Wimkin. Maureen says, even terrorists respect Trump. Right on. Especially. Amanda says, the book is called The Real Anthony Fauci by RFK. That's the one. That's the one I was talking about earlier. The Real Anthony Fauci. If you guys like to read, check that book out. It's well worth the read. And you'll learn a lot of stuff about old Fauci boy that you didn't know. Fab Daddy says, in New Zealand, the Morai protested Parliament. Or they protested in Parliament. And it was a great way better than January 6th. Well, January 6th wasn't actually a thing. It was largely fabricated, according to sources. Don't listen to me. I don't know anything. YouTube is right on everything. You should check out what they have to say about it. But according to what I understand, mostly it was just what people do every year or every election cycle. Except for that girl, Ashley Babbitt, that got shot for no reason, unarmed, by a Capitol police officer who was not being provoked at the time. Interesting, that. And he also had a record of knowingly, recklessly abandoning and misusing his firearm. John H. says if Trump is a Nazi, Uri Geller is Jewish, and he's a big fan of Trump. Uri Geller? Who is that? Are you saying Yuri Gagarin, who is an astronaut? Who's Uri Geller? I don't know who that is. But yeah, if Trump was a Nazi, would the president of the United States be sitting with him and congratulating him on his win and telling him welcome back? Would all of the news people be talking nice to him? No. That's not what you do to a Nazi. That's what you do to the next president. Notice how all of them are calling him president now. They weren't a month ago. Rachel says, yeah, well, Daddy, haka will get anyone's attention. A haktua? What are you saying? What's a haka? Is that what you're talking about? Rachel? Fab Daddy says Bill Maher is one fart smeller. He thinks he is anyway. I Love Herb too says, I had that happen to me too. Good friend cut me off because I did not tell him who I voted for. Well, I Love Herb, I'm sorry. People are stupid these days. They got infiltrated by some mind virus, and they are short-sighted enough to think that it's a good idea to cut yourself off from your family until they realize, of course, that they're alone and they have nobody to turn to when they need help, and nobody loves them because they've abandoned everybody that loved them. They'll realize it was a bad idea then. But unfortunately, this generation does not seem to have very much forethought. You know, can't really see ahead too far. And I apologize for your loss of friend there, but I assure you, if you lost a friend for such a frivolous reason, that was no friend. That was just a person you were spending time with for lack of having anyone else to spend time with. Go find you a real friend that'll have your back when you need them and that will be by your side even when you don't need them because they're your friend. That's what you want. And welcome to the show, by the way. Rachel says, a bunch of grown men screaming a war chant. I'd listen to them too. LOL. LMAO. You talking about the New Zealand thing? Probably, yeah. It's scary, says Rachel. It can be. I Love Herb says, LOL, 4B are not getting any anyways. That's my point. Yeah, they're not. Nobody's after those ladies. They're just doing this for attention. Any girl that is going to shave her head and publicly announce that she's no longer going to have sex with anybody, she's not getting laid. I'm sorry. It's not happening. You're really just grasping at straws at this point. There are 1,000 better ways to get somebody's attention or to make a point besides shaving your head and declaring publicly that you're off the market, which you were not on in the first place. Needless to say, to threaten us with, we're not going to procreate anymore until you stop being who you are. Good. There'll be a few less crazy liberals in the future. Good going. You have woked yourself out of existence. Are you happy? Bill Bennett says, true facts, LOL. Have you been to the border? Not today, cackle, cackle. Haven't been to Europe either. Ha ha. Yeah, I did a piece on that on Hyperbole. If you guys hadn't watched my show, Hyperbole, go check it out. It is funny, it is enlightening, and it's true. I think you'll like it. I Love Herb says, my thoughts exactly on 4B. I Love Herb, I think you would love being part of this group. Why don't you consider subscribing and hang out with us? I think you'll like it. We're 5 times a week. And we talk about all kinds of stuff. Amanda says, hi, I Love Herb. Welcome. Fab Daddy says, your chat's about to jump and you'll be confused. 4B started in South Korea. Those Korean guys got size issues. So the ladies aren't missing much. I wonder if that's why they all do their eyes like that. So that they can see better. That was a bad joke. I'm sorry. Bill says the left is brainwashed. Got it. Maureen says, cool, but yeah, I'll keep watching you here. Thank you. I appreciate that, Maureen. We love you. You know that. Walter Davis, what's up, brother? He says, good evening, all. Nice to see you, Walter. Hope you're doing well. John says, magician. URL. Yuri is. Oh, Uri Geller, the spoon bender. I remember now. Thank you. I don't know why, but when I said the name, it didn't click, but I know who you're talking about now. Patricia Logston says, that is happening to me right now. What is? Are you shaving your head and taking yourself off the market? Or are you talking about something else? Because I don't remember exactly what we said. But what's happening to you right now, Patricia? And can we help? Maureen says, haka, 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 singular haka, in both Maori and New Zealand. English are a variety of ceremonial dances, Maori culture. Got it. I'm probably saying all that wrong, but that's okay. I speak English. But thank you for enlightening me, because I thought she was talking about the Hawktua girl, which is also a good way to get someone's attention. Patricia says, it's my daughter. Your daughter's doing that. Oh, I'm sorry, Patricia. That's terrible. I hope that you can reach her, and I hope that you can talk some sense into her and let her know that there are better ways to go about what she's doing, and that following the herd is usually how the lemurs go off the edge of the cliff. Probably better to stand back on that one. Walter says, hi, Jake, John, Maureen, Fab, Amanda. I love Herb, Rachel, Jeff, Chocolate, Linda, Fab Daddy. Amanda says, hi, Patricia, welcome. And hi, Walter. Maureen says, hi, Walter. Fab Daddy says, LOL, I understand. Haka, Rachel. Jake, it's a war chant. The Moari, use their chests and leg slapping, tongues and snarling, mean faces. I've seen that before. It's kind of like what the big dudes in Hawaii do. What are they called? The, Jason Momoa and The Rock. What are they? You know what I'm talking about. Polynesian, whatever they're called. Yeah, I've seen that thing in New Zealand before. And it's pretty interesting. It's like a rite of passage. You start as a teenager and you become that guy in that group, right? And they do it every year. It seems like I've watched a documentary on that at some point. I did not know its name, but I recognize what you're talking about. Fab Daddy says, hi, Patricia. And John says, good evening, Walter. Walter says, Planned Parenthood wept when they heard that. I know, right? Isn't that funny? They have woke themselves out of existence. Pretty soon they're going to just stop breeding altogether. There is a such thing as going too far left. Maureen says, Fab, see my comment above yours. I gave the definition. Right on. Fab Daddy says, I saw Maureen. You are very smart. Fab Daddy says, these vertical streams hide some messages. I'm sorry, I don't have any control over that. But it does allow me to get to more new viewers, which is something I desperately need at the moment. So I appreciate you guys putting up with that. Maureen says, Fab, yep, they do. Smiley face. Linda Davis says, Walter, I guess you're not coming home. I haven't heard from you today. Walter, call your wife. What's wrong with you, man? And Walter says, hi, Linda. Going to be on the road in about half an hour. He is coming home today, I think. Maureen says, maybe when they see positive outcomes from what Trump does and all the scare tactics the Democrats sold liberals don't happen, they'll come around. Well, that's already happening, Maureen. When people started realizing that once Trump won, that everybody was kind of welcoming him back and congratulating him and glad-handing him and talking with him, and he did the dinner, I can't remember what it's called now, but it was with all the priests, the Catholic dinner, and there's people that are avidly against him sitting with him. The woman that's suing him is right behind him, and they're all laughing and having a good time, and people are like, didn't you say that guy was a Nazi? That he was a threat to democracy? He was a fundamental threat to our way of life? Didn't you say that? You, personally? And you're sitting there laughing at his jokes? Something's wrong. Morning Joe still hasn't figured it out. He's still yapping, him and Brzezinski. Mika Brzezinski. I think that's her name. They still hadn't figured it out. The View is losing their mind. They're apoplectic. They've been told they have to hire a pro-Trump host. That's going to be funny to watch. So, yeah, in a way, that's already kind of happening, Maury. And I think it's going to get worse because already in the first week of his actually winning the election, China, Russia, and Hamas have all put out messages talking about lowering the temperature and ceasefire and working with Trump on his foreign policies and trying to get in a line with, where everybody's making money. Russia and Zelensky have started talking about ending the war in Ukraine. There's a lot going on in the first week, and he hasn't even taken office yet. So, yeah, I think people are going to come around. I think eventually the gig is up. You can't just keep calling somebody a Nazi when they're not a Nazi, when they're actually good for the country in some ways. I understand there's a difference between the way liberals think and the way Republicans think. Their interests are not aligned. So obviously there's two different ways of doing things. Well, that doesn't make it bad. It's just that way or this way. Well, you've had this way for quite some time, and look where we're at. So let's try it this way for a little while, and if it don't get better, then you can say, I told you so, and we'll go back to doing it that way. But for right now, everybody needs to lower the temperature and stop calling people names that you don't confirm with facts, and see how we can make the country get better. We need to reach out towards each other. We need to connect more. We need to be willing to be in a room together. You can't divide a country in half and expect it to function as a country a whole. You have to be together, even when you differ in opinions. It's fine. Me and Fab Daddy argue all the time about stuff, and I consider him a friend. Why? Because who he votes for does not determine my friendship. Judge a man by his character. Judge him by the content of his character. Judge him by the fruit he bears, not by who he votes for. Fab Daddy says, Tonga. Bongo, your turn. What's a Tonga? John says, hi, Linda. Linda says, hi, John. John says, hi, Fab Daddy. Fab Daddy says, hi, John. And Walter. You guys are so nice, it hurts my teeth. Thank you for subscribing. Hanrahan 007. I used to live on a road called Hanrahan. Isn't that interesting? But it wasn't 007. But I like that name, Hanrahan 007. Do you have a license to kill? John says, Whoopi is going to get more gray hair now. She might get fired. She's not doing too well with the wind. Bill Bennett says, it's not getting worse, it's getting better. Thank you, Lord, for giving our great country another shot. In Jesus' name, amen. Bill Bennett, amen. Congratulations, by the way. It's about time. We need a breath of fresh air in this country. We need something different to happen. Different people in charge. Different things going on. Doesn't matter who they are. They need to be different. Because what we're doing now ain't working. We're sinking like a ship going down. Walter says Trump is being welcomed as the leader because of the lack of leadership for the last 4 years. Amen, brother. And Amanda says Whoopi needs to get her ass off TV. She's so two-faced. The bad thing is that I used to love Whoopi Goldberg back in the 80s, back in the Ghost days, and when she did her stand-up comedy and Sister Act and all that stuff. I loved Whoopi Goldberg. I thought she was a breath of fresh air. Then she went crazy. Linda says, I heard Whoopi walked off the show last week. That does not surprise me. That those people, all of those people that have that mentality, they're having a real hard time with reality right now because they really thought that we were one thing. It turns out we're not so much that thing, only in their little bubble, because the whole country shifted right in this election cycle. All of it, even California, a lot of places turned red. I mean, it's still liberal, but there's a lot of red in California. What they thought they had a win, a shoe-in, and come to find out, even the Mexicans don't like what they're putting out. The people that they're trying to get here illegally, even they are like, whoa, I didn't sign up for all that. I just want an iPhone, you know. So, and Fab Daddy says, that's why I'm here. Thank you, Fab Daddy. And Amanda says, she does that a lot, Linda. She's a woke biatch. Tonga is an island. Thank you, Fab Daddy. Aruba, Jamaica. Ooh, I want to take you to Key Largo. I don't think it's in there. I'm just kidding. Rachel says, shame Whoopi is like that. Great actress. Fantastic in Sister Act movies. Yeah, but she was fundamentally a different person back then, I think. Matter of fact, she used to work at Donald Trump's casinos. I don't know if you knew that or not. I don't know if she wants you to know that or not, but she did. She used to be a headlining act at them. Oprah Winfrey used to joke about running for president with Donald Trump before he ran for president. As a Republican, she didn't see that coming. Imagine Oprah Winfrey running with Donald Trump. Could you even fathom something like that? That was a thing that they talked about. Amanda says that was before she went woke. She was awesome in Ghost also. Yes, Ghost was a great movie. And she was, it's something about money and fame. I don't know what it is. When you get to a certain level, you go crazy. Like, I'll give you a prime example of this. The band Green Day. Their whole thing is that they're not sellouts. It's a punk band, right? So the whole thing is they're anti-establishment. Punk is anti-establishment. That's the idea behind punk. That's the Sex Pistols, all of that. Screw the man. I'm going to do my thing, right? That's punk. Go look at his Twitter. Armstrong, the guy, the lead singer, go look at his Twitter feed. Go look at anything they've said in the last 8 years. They are anything but anti-establishment. They are part of the establishment. And it happened at some point from Garage Band to the last Green Day album. I don't know where it happened at, but at some point people just go crazy. And I think there comes a point where you make so much money and you're so terrified to lose that money that you'll do anything to keep it. And you just fall in line. I think that might be something to do with it, but I can't swear to it because I've never been in that position. But something happens to people when they get rich and they turn into somebody else. It's quite an interesting study. Fab Daddy says it's where the big islanders come from. It's the moms feeding the taro root and rice milk. Nice. Maureen says, Whoopi has had a tantrum and walked off several times now, LOL. I think so, yeah. They all have at some point or other. Joy Behar is another one that is ripe for tantrums. I don't like her at all. Or Sonny Halston either, for that matter. Bill Bennett says, it is that simple. All boils down to reality. Big difference between reality and what they sell on the news, isn't it? Fab Daddy says, Ted Danza couldn't handle Whoopi's crap, and he's from Cheers. Ted Danza? You mean Tony Danza? Or Ted Danson? Ted Danson and Tony Danza. Only one of those guys are from Cheers. The other one is from another show that I can't remember the name of. Who's the Boss? Who's the Boss? Rachel Floyd says, I forgot Oprah still existed, Lamau. Right? She's been awful quiet since Diddy got fingered. No pun intended. Sorry, my chat jumped again. And I lost my place. Oh, Anarchy, Sex Pistols. Right. Well, Green Day was that too. I mean, go listen to Broken Boulevard of Broken Dreams, or, Wake Me Up When September Ends, or whatever it is. They're anti-establishment until you start talking about politics, and then they're all establishment. All of them. Isn't that funny? How all the people we grew up listening to, rebelling against the man, are all part of the man now? All of them. It's almost uncanny. It's the same with Metallica. That's right, Fab Daddy. They're all the same. What is going on? Where are all the hard rockers? Where are all the people that are sticking it to the man? Where's the Johnny Cash of the world? We don't have that right now. That's weird, is it not? Am I the only person that noticed that? Batshit crazy, says. Preach it, son. Thank you, Batshitty. Amanda says, hi, Batshit. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Bill Bennett says, didn't the Lord say you can't love money and him? I guess I was never meant to have any money, but rich in family and friendship. Thank you, guys. Bill, it doesn't say that you can not love both. What it says is, number one, it says the love of money is the root of all evil. Not money, the love of money. Greed, hunger, possession, power, that sort of stuff. That's the root of everything that's evil. And it also says that it's easier for a rich man to pass through the eye of a needle than to get into heaven. Why would that be? Well, because, number one, a rich man has a lot of stuff, so going through the eye of a needle is going to be hard even if he didn't have anything. But it's not likely to get him into heaven, because here's the thing about money. And I'm going to burst some bubbles here, I know. And I'm pretty sure nobody will ever listen to me, so it's all right. I can tell this secret and get away with it. But I'm going to tell you, there's no such thing as money that you can get. You can't get rich. You're either born rich or you did something dirty to get rich. That's it. There is no such thing as working hard, keep your nose to the grindstone, and making it in the world. It has happened, but it is so rare that it might as well have not happened. It's not going to happen to you, I promise. It's like one of those moments where at the same time somebody invented shoes, somebody else invented shoelaces. At that exact moment, that's the only way you get rich. Now, and that was in the past when money didn't matter as much as it matters now. That same thing happened today, wouldn't happen. It only happened because of the moment in time it happened, right? So, if you're one of the lucky people that managed to do something that changes the world, you might get rich. But otherwise, everyday people all over the world, if you get rich, you screwed somebody to get rich. You did something evil to get rich. You did something crooked or wrong or morally ambiguous to get rich. You cannot get rich working because the system is not designed to make you rich. The system is designed to make you a better employee, to keep other people rich. That's how it works. That's what school is about. You go to school to learn how to be an employee. You work at a factory with a bell, and you sit at a desk, and you do your job, and you stay focused, and you watch the clock, and you go when the bell says go, and you eat where you're supposed to eat, and you show up where you're supposed to show up. That's an employee. It's also prison. That's what school does. You want to learn how to think? Start a business. That's how you get rich. But unless you have money already, you're going to have to do something to get money to make that business work. And that is going to push you into areas that you're not comfortable with. That's going to push you into morally ambiguous realms. So, you either get inherited money or you get crooked money, ill-gotten gains. Or you're one of the 1% of the universe that actually made money by hard work. It's not very likely, though. It's a big secret to the world. If you want to learn, start a business. If you want to learn how to be somebody's employee, go to school. Simple. Bill says, I read that one. Patty says, President Trump may be setting the future up with some good young men to take the reins. I think that's the idea, considering he only has 4 years because he can't run again. This is it. This is the end of the Trump dynasty. However, if he does his cards right, and I don't know that he will, because Trump ultimately is Trump, and he may just be self-centered enough not to even consider it. But if he does the right thing, if he is truly sent by God, then he's going to set up a legacy while he's in there for this 4 years, and he's going to put people in place that can continue MAGA for the next 20 years or better. Change the fundamental way the United States works, if he's smart and if he's doing the right thing. So we can pray for him to do the right thing. We can support the ideas that lend towards that and reject the ideas that don't. Fab Daddy says, I call them sellouts. You mean Green Day? Yeah. Well, that was the idea behind Green Day, is that they were not sellouts. They were the garage band that kept their morality. You know, they kept the thing that made them popular until politics entered their life, interestingly enough, till they got rich, doing the thing they were totally not selling out to do. Batshit Crazy says, all kinds of evil words matter. Could you be more specific? Fab Daddy says, nothing wrong with selling out venues, but they do need to curtain promotions and ticket sales monopolies. I understand. Yep. Well, the thing is the only way to get popular is to sell out. You have to sell something to get known. And that, for some people, they think that when you begin to make money, then you are no longer the little best kept secret in the universe. You're no longer their thing, their band, the thing that they know that nobody else knows. And then, so you're a sellout. And so that's the idea behind that. And it's really a bad thought, because what, do you want me to stay in the garage for the rest of my life? Or do you want me to be successful? If you like my band, you want me to be successful. Look at me. I'm giving my album away. Why? Well, because it's more important to me that you hear it than I make money on it. If you like it, maybe the next one I'll make money on. John Bond, welcome to the show. He says, Trump is not God. These people in the comments are insane. Really? I haven't heard anybody say that Trump was God, or anything insane for that matter, John. So what are you talking about specifically, and what is your beef with whatever's being said in the comments? What is insane? Be specific. Speak slowly so that we can understand you. Fab Daddy says, a concert is too expensive today. Bring back the 80s ticket prices. MAGA. Let's make concerts great again. I'm with you, Fab Daddy. Totally not insane. I want albums to be $9.99 again. How about that? I want a t-shirt that costs $10. You look at my t-shirts. Now, I have nothing to do with the pricing, by the way, so don't get mad at me for that. A t-shirt's like $27. Are you kidding me? Kiss ain't worth $27 t-shirts. I don't agree with that at all. The only reason they're there is because I have the ability to do so. Maybe somebody will buy one, and they have bought some, but I don't like the prices. I wish that they were $10. I wish that I could make a t-shirt for $10 and sell it to you for, less than $10. But it just ain't going to be that way right now. Unless all prices get lowered, all inflation goes away, and people start making money again, prices are going to remain ridiculous. Amanda says, John, don't come in here being disrespectful to the chat. Right, John? Behave yourself, man. If you got something to say, say it. You don't have to be disrespectful to do so. We'll listen, because we're not insane, nor are we in a cult like some people. We have critical thinking skills. So if you have an argument, make it. I'll counter with a better one or a worse one. But the idea will be heard, and that's what's important. That's why we have discourse. Maureen says, only way I'll get rich is to win the lottery. No, ma'am. If you won the lottery, it would ruin your life. Do you know why? I'll tell you why. Because you didn't earn it. And when you don't earn money, it's really easy to throw it away quickly before you even see it going. And pretty soon you're in debt. And now you got taxes to pay on that money. You go out and buy yourself a piece of property or a nice car, they're going to come knocking for the taxes. And they know you got it because they watched the lottery. So they're going to dun you for it. And when they do, you're not going to be able to pay it because you already spent the money. Because you didn't earn it, which means you don't have any value for that money. It's just paper. It's just, look, I got money. That's the difference. If you earn it, you respect it. You treat it like you earned it. You hold on to it. You think about when you spend it. You're frugal. But if it's just handed to you, you just spend it because it's money. Winning the lottery always, almost always, ruins the person's life who won it. Go back and look at some of the stories. I don't know maybe 1 out of 10 stories that I've heard where they actually went on to a better life because they were smart with their money. Most people go out and buy a new car, go buy a house, go do a weekend of partying, do some blow, have some hookers. Next thing you know, they got the Russian mob after them because they owe them some money because they borrowed $100,000 in a casino. Because that's the way it works. The love of money is the root of all things evil. And Linda Davis says, my chat keeps disappearing. Ugh. I'm sorry, Linda. Sky says, can I be a mod? No one said yes, and it's making me sad. Sky, no. I have to know you for a while, and you have to prove yourself. You hit the subscribe button first. That's the first step. Subscribe to the channel. And then you start showing up and you start contributing to the conversation and let me hear how you think. Let me hear what is on your mind. And when I analyze and figure out how you think and I agree with you, I will give you a wrench and you can be a moderator. You absolutely can. It is possible. But I don't just hand them out for no reason. Amanda says, bummer, Linda. Yeah, the chat does funny things in this vertical format, and I apologize for that. But we wouldn't be getting all these newcomers if I wasn't vertical, so I kind of got to do it. Got to play their YouTube game. John says, Linda, try refreshing the page. That might work. Hit refresh. Amanda says, sorry, Sky, we have plenty of them right now. Plenty mods. And Linda says, John, I just did. Now the show is in a different format. Well, I didn't change anything. That's weird. Maureen says, Rock the Country Festival is manageable when you get tickets early. Rock and country, yeah. It is manageable, but it's still, tickets are way high. I think I heard somewhere that Taylor Swift was selling like $1,000 tickets for like up close. Might even be more than that. I can't remember, but it's ridiculous. Anyway. Bill Bennett says, thank you, bro, for what you are doing. Spreading the word and a little truth. Life lessons comes with wisdom. That's right, Bill. That's right. And thank you for noticing. I appreciate it. I'm working hard trying to do that very thing. Spread a little wisdom. Spread a little bit of common sense, spread a little bit of critical thinking, and spread a little bit of gospel. All those things are important in this world. If you don't have all of those things, you're not going to go very far, especially in today's society, in today's climate, the way things are, the way people think, the way TikTok has changed, and YouTube and all things have changed the way people think. You need strong roots to wisdom. You need that. I don't even know that I have it, but if I have any, I'm trying to share it. Amanda says, did the word MAGA come out of Fab's mouth? I think it did. I think it did. Sarcastically, but I think it did. It's a win. I'm counting it. Fab Daddy says, did you hear that texts were sent to black teens telling them to surrender to the cotton plantations? It happened last week, and that is not okay. No, that is not okay. And I bet you $100 to donuts that a liberal sent those texts. Guarantee it. Because Republicans don't even think like that. That is something that Democrats came up with to smear us and to scare people away from us. We don't think like that. I assure you that we got the message years ago when we were told to judge a man by the content of his character. We bought into that idea. And yet, every day, racist this, racist that, white supremacy, blah, 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 privileged. Give me a break. You grow up where I grew up and talk to me about privilege. You don't know anything about me. Not you personally. The fictitious you that I'm ranting at the moment. You don't know where I came from. You don't know what it's like to have to carry water for miles. You don't know what it's like to be given one bullet and say you better come back with one animal or you're not going to eat. You don't know anything for you to sit there on your high horse from your Ivy League school and call me privileged because of the color of my skin. Well, first of all, you got that wrong right off the bat. You don't even know who I am because I'm not white. I'm Native American, mostly. I'm Irish the rest of the way. But according to Darwin, that's not white. So go figure. Anyway, it's about time we stop talking like that. It's about time we start thinking about the future and about each other and about what we can do to be comfortable and copacetic amongst one another and how we can bring our society back to the world superpower that it managed to become in less than 200 years to be the greatest nation that the world has ever known because of the system that we have. The Electoral College and the way that we process information and the God in our schools and courthouses and the laws that govern our land. It's not perfect, but it's the best thing on planet Earth that has ever been tried. It's the best experiment. It has had the best results. And you live here, and you should consider that a stroke of luck, not privilege. Thank God I was born in America in 2000s, 21st century, whatever you want to say. Thank God that you weren't born in some third world shithole and you'd have to live like that, where people regularly cut each other's heads off and whatnot. Thank God you have access to an education that can teach you nonsense to say to people that are your neighbors. Thank God. Thank God we've got it so good that you have to invent problems to be mad about because there's nothing going on in your life, bad or good. But thank God. How about take that energy and go do something constructive, find a problem and solve it, and watch your life explode into endless possibilities. Or you can sit in your mama's basement covered in Cheeto dust and rant about your feelings of Rachel Zegler and why she don't like white people. Your call. I'm sorry, black teens. You should not. You should. I tell you what, if you can find a cotton plantation, you should report to it and ask them what they're doing. Amanda says, yep, that is bullshit, Fab Daddy. I agree. Fab Daddy says, I think the Russians sent the texts to rile up people in America. Now, why would they do that? Has anybody ever asked that question? Why do you think Russia is interested in riling up people in America? Why do you think they would do that? Why do you think they would steal an election for Donald Trump or some such nonsense? Don't they have their own problems? It's a pretty big country, right? Last I heard, a lot of people live there. They got shit going on over there. Why would they be messing with our elections? Apart from what all countries do to all countries, including America. That happens all the time. John says, stamp out racism. It was stamped out in the 80s. In 1985, the top 5 people in entertainment were all black, and they were all great. What happened? Obama happened. Stamp out Obama. That's what I'd say. Patty says, just count me out on high dollar concerts. Well, you get free concerts all the time. And I'm glad to do it. Maureen says, Fab, I think it was more a mass text with racist content rather than a targeted to black people specific. Still abhorrent, but not sure how they could target. Yeah, I don't know how they could do that either. But I assure you, there are people such as the Soroses that have vested interests in causing small skirmishes amongst the people, because if we're divided, we're easier to control. That's why all of this happens. That's why when a riot is about to be broke out, that mysteriously bricks and signs show up that look like they were all printed at the same printing company on the same material with the same texts, but everybody has one. Have you ever wonder how that happens? It's almost like somebody is setting all that up ahead of time. Yeah, it's called an agent provocateur, and they do this so that we're easily controlled and swayed in different directions politically. What you need to do is stand up and start thinking for yourself and stop listening to the herd and make decisions based on what's in front of you. Try to do the right thing. No matter what is going on, always try to make a good decision, and all of these things will stop. Because I can tell you right now, I am not a white supremacist, but I am a white enthusiast, and I do appreciate my own kind. So does everybody else, by the way. It's not a inherently me problem. It's not a problem at all, because that's how people gravitate towards one another and have culture and have communities, because people prefer certain things, right? I don't hate anybody that's different than me. I'm indifferent to the idea. I don't care what you are. I don't care how you live. If I like it, I want to be part of it. If I don't like it, if I'm uncomfortable with it, I want to go over there. So do you. What's the problem? That's not racism. That's called culturalism. And everyone is involved in it in some fashion. Don't believe me? Look at Whoopi Goldberg's hair. You think that's uniquely African American? I think the Vikings would have a problem with that. Or the Jamaicans. Or anybody that weaved their hair at some point. Look at Joy Reid. Do you think that's the way that her people look? Look at Don Lemon. Do you think that smooth skin and the nice suit that he wears, you think that's uniquely him? Look at spaghetti. Look at McDonald's. Look at Pizza Hut. You think any of these things are what they purport to be? Go to a Chinese restaurant. Then go to China and tell me what the difference is. Everything is culturally impressed upon. We are in a melting pot. It used to be a selling point of this country, and now for some reason it's a problem. But it used to be a selling point. It's problematic that we are multicultural and that we have lots of influences in our lives. For example, I'm a Native American, but I've always worn cowboy boots. Now, that's a conflict of interest, if you ask me. But that's how I was raised. And guess what? The cowboys are the cool dudes. And I'm an Indian. You know? I wanted to wear a white hat. It's called progress. And anytime progress happens, people meld and become something else. And that something else is beautiful. That's why we're so smart right now in this world. Because of all of the intermingling of the cultures, because of sharing ideas. This new thing, this woke thing, is threatening to end that. Think about what you're saying to yourself. We need to separate. Stop sharing ideas. Stop communicating with people we disagree with. Guess what? If you don't disagree, you don't ever learn anything. That's how you learn. You disagree. Or you make a mistake, and then you profit from that mistake by learning from it, right? If you don't ever make a mistake because you're in a echo chamber and everything that you've ever heard is exactly what you think now, how does that make you smarter? It doesn't. It doesn't make you think. It doesn't make you compare ideas. It doesn't make you question your own. That's what college is right now. A melting pot of people that cannot think. Do you really want a country in 10, 15, 20 years that is full and ran by people that cannot think? There's a reason that in 35 years, the only thing that has been invented of note is a smaller cell phone. Now you compare that to the 20s and look at what came out from the 20s to the 30s to the 40s to the 50s, and compare that to from the 70s on to now. What do you think the problem is? Back then, everybody was reaching for something greater than themselves. Everybody was trying to innovate. Everybody was trying to come up with something they didn't have already. Now, you can't even watch a movie that you haven't already seen. Every movie has the same 7 elements in it. Every one of them. So much so that they're called cliches. And they're in everything you see. Because nobody is doing anything unique. Well, what happens when you have a world that does nothing unique? You stagnate, you die, you go away, you become obsolete. That's what's happening in real time. Watch television. Look at the people on the news. Compare that to new media, to people like me, to people like Joe Rogan, to people like Tim Pool and Russell Brand and Dave Smith and Dave Rubin. They're stagnating. CNN is going off the cliff. MSNBC, almost done. No common sense at all. They're resorted to openly lying to you and telling you they're lying to you. Because it's not news. It's opinion. Because they've stagnated. Because they can't think. What do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be somebody that can think my way out of a paper bag. I want to be able to think outside the box. I want to innovate. I want to solve a problem. Can you? Do you know how? That one scary baboon player says, "Hey, I'm dying. Please send help. I drank a Coke and now I'm seeing stars." Call 911 and tell them a moron just drank a Coke and now they're seeing stars. If you were dying, you couldn't text very well. I'm just saying. Amanda says, "Right, Patty? I can have a concert anytime I want, with any genre I want. LOL, I have a Jake." Well, on behalf of all Jakes, I welcome you to the Hall of Jakes. I stole that, but it's nice. I like it. What do you want to hear first, the shit I stole or the shit I made up? Patty says, "Peace, America, sunglasses." I can't even believe how blessed I am at times, says Patty. Well, Patty, I assure you that you are in the minority of people who understand that they need to count their blessings rather than their curses, because your blessings are all around you. Every day you open your eyes from slumber and see the sun shining through the curtains is a blessing from God. Why? Because that's another day you get to be here. You have no control over that. When it's your time, it's your time. You're gone. You just don't wake up. Period. But every day you do, that's a potential day of something different happening. It's probably going to be the same thing, but there's potential. And that is a blessing, because you can turn potential into gold if you know what you're doing. John H. says, "Well, We all bleed the same and hurt the same. Love thy neighbors. Amen, brother. And Maureen says, exactly, John. And Katie Merritt says, hello. Hey, Katie. Good to see you. Amanda says, I agree, John. Katie says, hey, Jake. Hey, Katie. How are you? Hope you're doing well. We're just ranting and raving over here, going crazy. Talking about all kind of things. I meant to get to the cabinet, and we ain't even got there yet. And it's already 10 o'clock. But 1,600 viewers. I like it. Amanda says, hi, Katie. Welcome. Katie says, hi, Amanda. Katie says, so happy Donald Trump won. Yes, me too. Modern women are trash and poop, says something I will never see. You know why? Because you can't talk like that in here. Behave yourself and respect the ladies, or you get booted out. Simple as that. This is a privilege, not a right. Fab Daddy says, I never underestimate Russia. I don't care about Russia. Russia has nothing to do with my life. It's never affected me in any way whatsoever until I started watching MSNBC. Russia is not our enemy. It's also not the problem. It's also not even third on the list of most dangerous threats to the world. Not even third. So why are we not underestimating Russia? Why don't we let Russia be Russia and let America be America and stop meddling in everybody's business? Maybe that's something Donald Trump can do. Bring us back to the country that we are in and make it better. And stop worrying about what those people are doing. Because those people got their own problems. People ask me all the time, what do you think about what's happening in Israel? I don't care. I got to work tomorrow. You see, I got problems. I got to put food on my table. I don't give a damn what's going on over there. That's not my issue. I didn't cause it. I didn't start it. I'm not involved in it. I don't want to think about it. I can't fix everybody's problems. But I can put food on my table. I can fix that problem. So I'm going to fix that problem. Now, once I've fixed that problem and food is on the table, we can talk about some other stuff. Right now, this is what I'm focused on. I don't care. Why do you? Why is it such a big thing already? Linda says, Amanda, I can't moderate, but I know you got this. Why can't you, Linda? You can do it. I believe in you. I believe you can fly. I believe you can touch the sky. Come on, moderate with me, Linda. Amanda says, LOL, it's all good, Linda. Not many can keep up with me on this here thing. Anyway, she is the fastest gun in the West. I'll give her that. Fab Daddy says, I don't even try. You don't try what? You don't even try to solve some other problem? I don't know. What are we talking about? I get lost in my rants. I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. Linda says, Amanda, very true. Amanda says, LOL Fab. Full Throttle says, facts, muscles. Thank you, Full Throttle. Appreciate it. Welcome to the show. He says, I love being white, and I'm very proud of my heritage. Well, somebody came to me one time and said, you, sir, have white privilege. And they had to lisp like that and green hair. But anyway, I said, white privilege, what do you mean? You're privileged. I said, okay, I think I understand. So you're telling me that when I was born, I won the lottery. Like, just because I was born, everything goes my way. I get out of tickets. I don't get harassed by the cops. I can have whatever I want. I pay my rent whenever I want. I get credit. I'm born with a credit line. Come on. I'm privileged. I can get into any university I want, anywhere I want to get in. Everything just happens in my favor. And you want me to think that's a bad thing? I'm against this. Why? Bring it on. Let's have some white privilege. Unfortunately, I live in reality, and life ain't like that. It never has been. But for some reason, people from college seem to think it is. I went to college. It wasn't like that when I went to college. I had to pay to go to college. I didn't have a rich daddy. I had to have a full-time job and took 19 hours on the credit system to keep up with all of that. Mm-hmm. You should love being white. You should be proud of who you are. You should love being black if you're black. You should love being purple if you're purple. Be who you are. Make it a thing. Make people pay attention to you. Use your strengths. And stop worrying about why everybody would hate you, because nobody cares that much about you. To be honest with you, you are not the star of the movie. Everybody thinks they are, but they're not. Most people are bit part players, to be honest, and a few people are changers. They shake things up. They do things. They innovate. They make things happen. Most people are just non-player characters in somebody else's movie. That's just the way it is in reality. And nobody is thinking how you think about a situation. They're thinking how they think about it. Nobody. I promise you, if you walk into a room full of people, not one of them goes, "Hey, look who just walked in." Not one. But that's the way they think. The world does not revolve around us. It revolves around me. And I've been trying to tell you all that for 8 years. No, I'm just kidding. Amanda says, "Hi, Full Throttle. Welcome." Full Throttle says, "Amanda, hello and thank you. Please subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Like, subscribe." I'm not having a stroke. I can talk. Let me have a drink. Like, subscribe, share, support, join, and super chats are available in the chat box. If you want to show some love and support for the things we're trying to fight for, throw a super chat my way. I appreciate it. Or a sticker. I don't even know what that means, but I think you could figure it out. Maureen says, "That's one of the wonderful things about America. We share our cultural roots and customs." Yes, I want to wear Italian shirts sometimes. I want to change my hairdo sometimes. I want to wear this filthy mustache for you sometimes. I want to have a plethora of ideas and thoughts and styles to choose from. Sometimes I like to play a Spanish guitar. Sometimes I like to play an American guitar. You know what I'm saying? We can do that because we came from everywhere. This is a melting pot, and everybody here is part of the swirl. And the swirl is beautiful. I don't know why anybody would ever have a problem with that. Amanda says, "Yes, Maureen." Fab Daddy says, "When we can control emotions from discussion, we can garner respect." Yes, and it's okay to get emotional during a discussion. The difference is to not let that lead the discussion. The discussion should always come from ideas, and we're exchanging those ideas. And they may not be the same idea, but that's how we learn who each other is, by giving our ideas. And then the people around us listening to that conversation also learn, because they're hearing both sides of an argument. And they get to make up their minds as to what kind of argument is the better argument. That's always been the case. The answer is more speech, not limited speech. The more people talk, the smarter people around get. I don't know why anybody doesn't see that, but it really is that way. Linda says, "Right, Maureen. I'm first-generation American, and my family came legally, and they were proud to become Americans in this wonderful melting pot. In fact, that is why they came here instead of Russia or somewhere else. Probably came in Ellis Island or something like that, right? They came here, oddly enough, looking for the American dream. What's that? Well, that is it's a Mediterranean lifestyle. It's where everybody comes from every direction to this place and makes things happen. That's the American dream. Back then, you could think, if I go to that place, in 20 years, I can have a family and a house and a piece of property and a car and a great job and a church to go to and a community to serve and friends. The American dream. I can travel across the continent and go everywhere with roads that aren't too bad and aren't littered with tolls. I can, buy a new car every year. I could have a nice suit. These things are beautiful. Most importantly, children are beautiful. If you don't have children, you don't put anybody into the future. Ergo, you cease to exist in the future. That's why we're here, to put something from ourselves into the future. All of this woke nonsense is avidly against that whole principle. The nuclear family, heterosexual relationships, having faith in a higher power, loving your children, being able to raise them as your children with your ideals. They're against all of that. Why? Because it's a death cult, and they want it to stop, so that the next part of the world has nothing to do with the previous part of the world. Tell me how that works exactly. Where are these new people going to come from? They're not already here. At some point, you got to start thinking, maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I should contribute to this thing we call a society rather than try to destroy it. Maybe I should find a use for myself. I'm here, after all, most of the time. Maybe I should do something while I'm here. If I do, wouldn't it be cool if what I did was remembered, was important, was history? Try. Sitting in your basement ain't going to make it happen. The world will not come to you. You got to get out there and go subdue it. Very first part of the Bible says, be fruitful and multiply. That means to put parts of you into the rest of the world. Be fruitful. That means to gain stuff. Make the world yours and subdue it. Have dominion over it. You have to go out and conquer the world. You have to be the boss. You have to make the decisions. It's your ship. You can sail it across the 7 seas, or you can drive that sucker right into the rocks. Either way, it's your ship. You're the captain. You make the decisions. Oh-ho! What'd you call me? Sorry, I meant ahoy. I'll accept that. Amanda says, full throttle. Welcome to the show. Consider subscribing. You won't regret it. I get crazy sometimes. Maureen says, that's one of the I read that one. No, I didn't. That's one of the wonderful things about America. We share our cultural roots and customs. Yes, I did. And Maureen says, yes, Maureen. Fab Daddy says, I read that one too. What the heck is going on here? Linda says, right, Maureen. I read that one too. Melting Pot. Caroline Palin, welcome to the show. Thank you for subscribing. Maureen says, I'm glad you were here, Linda. Me too. Maureen says, Fab Daddy says, welcome, Caroline. Caroline, tell us a little bit about yourself. What it is. Hello, everybody. What's up, what it is? Good to see you. Welcome to Politi-tics, where we've gone off the rails, and it's 10:20. Amanda says, hi, what it is, what's happening? Fab Daddy says, what it is. If I abbreviate your name, you're just a wee. He's a wee lad, he is. Bill Bennett says, well said. Thank you, Bill. Completely unscripted. Yes, it never shuts off. That is how my brain functions. Linda Davis says, something happened to my chat and I can't get back into the format that gives me the ability to moderate. Hopefully it will be back to normal tomorrow night. I hope so. Maybe you got logged out. You might have to go and re-log in. I don't know. Fab Daddy says, try rebooting the stream. Cut it off and cut it back on, I guess. Amanda says, you might have to close YouTube and come back in, Linda. Sometimes these things happen. I apologize. Maureen says, your races are only a blessing or curse. You make it or allow it to be. Your race is whatever you are, wherever you were born, whatever color you are. It's you. You're right. Only those who allow things to bother them are affected by the things that are bothering them. If you called me a cracker, I could care less. You know why? Because I'm comfortable with who I am, and I know what I am. And I know what I'm worth, which is the most important part of that equation. I know where I stand in the hierarchy of men. I know where I am, right? I'm not a 10, and I know that. But I am a 6, and I'm a powerful 6. And I'm a powerful dreamer, and I'm a powerful intellect. And if I take those and use them to my advantage, doesn't matter what color I am, does it? Because my color is irrelevant. That doesn't cause or take away anything from me. Because everything about me is in my head and in my heart. And in my fingers sometimes. But other than that, it doesn't matter what color you are. What matters is what your personality is. What matters is how you approach other people and how you allow them to approach you, right? I've got black friends. I've got white friends. I've also got people that I know both colors that I can't stand because I don't like the way they act. I don't like their culture. It's not race, it's culture that most people have a problem with, and they equate it to racism because of what they hear on the news. It's not racism. Yes, there's a such thing as racism, but it's kind of silly. I mean, really. You want to see racism? Watch MSNBC. When the fellow with the fuzzy hair gets on and starts talking about his brothers. Watch Joy Reid. Watch anything that occurs on a college campus, and you'll see racism happen every day, all day long, and nobody says a word about it. But you have two people have a disagreement, and all of a sudden somebody's a racist. I don't see it. I just don't see it. Much depends on your attitude. Absolutely, Maureen. 90% of it is your attitude. 90% of how you are perceived is how you present yourself, right? If you present yourself like an asshole, guess what people are going to think you are? If you present yourself as hateful, if your answer to someone meeting you is a snap or a sarcastic remark or something rhetorical, chances are they're not going to like you. But if you're warm, if you're inviting, if you open your hands and say, come here, let me talk to you. Hey, I'm interested in what you've got to say. Hey, I'm making eye contact with you, my fellow human being here. Hey, why are you in my presence? And what can I do for you? Chances are people are going to love you. Why? It's not your color. It's because you were inviting. And that's it. That's all there is to it. It's that easy. Linda Davis says, hell, Jake, I'm definitely the star player in my house. Try and tell these gremlins that mom don't have to be responsible for everything. I know. Moms are awesome. You guys can do anything and make it happen and still be on time. I don't know how you do that. I can do nothing and still be late. Don't know how that works, but you guys are awesome. You got a lot of strength. See, God gave women that ability. Men do not have that ability. I assure you, we don't. We're not putting on. It's not an act. The reason the trash don't get taken out as soon as I walk by it is because I didn't see it. Why? Because my mind is linearly thinking towards the next problem, solution, blowjob situation. That's all there is to it. That's it. That's what goes on in here for all guys. Some are smarter, dumber, whatever. Some are more oriented towards art. Some are more oriented towards building, whatever. I assure you that is the totality of the male brain. Women, on the other hand, have multiple pockets of thoughts and ideas that are going in every direction all the time. And depending on what's happening in front of them, 2 or 3 of these other subcategories can pop up and interject, and I can't do that. You guys are awesome. That's all there is to it. If it weren't for women, men would destroy the world, because all of us would be trying to get that thing in that hole because it's funny. That's literally what would happen. You guys focus us and make us have desires because we love you, because we want to be with you, because we want to see you smile, because we want to smell your hair. We will build roads. I will make fire so that you will look at me. I won't do that for myself. I'll sit on the beach and watch the sun go up and down for a millennia. Because why else? What else have I got to do? But you put a woman in front of me, I'll build a pyramid just so I can smell your hair, right? Every war that has ever been fought. Also, every book that has ever been written, every movie that has ever been filmed, every song, every school, every hospital, every house, every airport, all of it was because of a woman. I guarantee it. You guys have no idea the power you sit upon. It literally makes the world go round. And I mean your love, not your other parts. Although I'm sure that it causes some velocity issues. Amanda says, Linda, right on. Bill Bennett says, teamwork is the best outcome. Usually is. Doesn't matter the team. If it's together, more things get accomplished. Always. Always. Linda says, Ellis Island was closed by the time they came. Okay. Bill Bennett says, it is a battle of good and evil. Yeah, it usually is. What are we talking about? Maureen said, chat jumped again. Hang on. Maureen says, on November 12th, 1954, Ellis Island closed its doors. Wow. I didn't know it was open that long. I thought it was like in the 30s. So immigrants were coming right on up to 1954, huh? Maureen says, Bill always has been a battle for good and evil. Yeah, always. The very first story, the Garden of Eden, battle of good and evil. Right there. Sean, or Scene, can't talk like that here, buddy. Amanda says, Sean, take that elsewhere. This is the wrong place for it. And he tries you again and again. You banhammer him right out of existence. You go, girl. One more and I'll boot you, Sean, says Amanda. Bucks Buggies. Hello, lovely people. It's me. I thought it was Bucks Buggies. Good to see you, man. How's Waycross? Amanda says, hi, Bucks. And Lynn says, maybe you don't want them to like you. Maybe. If that's the case, I pity you. Because if they don't like you, what are you? I don't know about you. I want to be the guy that people want to come to when they have a problem. I want to be the guy that has the answer to the question that's burning in your mind. I don't know that I'll ever be that guy, but that's what I aspire to be. I fancy myself as a nobleman. Whether I am or not is irrelevant. Whatever I've ever done that would deserve any kind of thing like that, that doesn't matter. That's what my heart tells me that I am. The guy that knows how to solve the problem, the guy that knows how to answer the question, the guy that you can trust, the guy that has the strength to survive the thing that is currently happening. And with that strength, you can survive too. That's the guy that I want to be. And so everything I do, I try to aspire to be that. Whether I ever achieve it or not is up to you to decide. But only you can make that decision. I can't, because that would be oddly self-serving. All I can do is aspire. I can try. I can work. I can lean in that direction. But you have to decide whether I'm that guy or not. And if you come to me with your problem or your question or whatever it is, your need of strength, then you've decided I'm that guy. And you trust that it will work in your favor. That means you like me. And I need that. Because that validates what I am. You see how that works? If you're one of those misanthropic maniacs that don't want anybody to like you because you're so self-absorbed that you can't be part of someone else's life because it's too bothersome or whatever, I pity you. I hope you go the way of the peanut allergy people. Lynn, welcome to the show. You get honesty here, and that's what I think. Amanda says, not all women can do it. LOL. Well, true. Well, not all men can build houses. But that's the general idea of what a man is, right? Some men are more effeminate. Some men are more needy. Some men are scary. They like freak out over spiders and such. Anyway, some men can pick up big rocks and push them up hills and build pyramids and, make things happen. Some men draw that stuff up and have other men do it. Women are the same way. Some women can be matriarchs. They can run families. They can shuffle careers and husbands and children and laundry and stuff that would make my hair fall out. Some women can't, but they can do other things. You got to decide who you are. See, here's the thing that they don't tell you when you're born. You have to figure this out somewhere between born and, 12. You make things happen. Nobody else. You want to be a supermodel? Guess what? It's expensive. You got to do stuff to make that happen. But there is a formula that will allow it to happen. You got to decide whether or not you can be that and go for it. You want to be a carpenter? You got to drive nails. You got to know how. You got to learn the rules. You got to learn how to measure things. You learn how things are put together. You make that happen. Nobody else does. Who are you? Have you ever thought about it? Have you ever questioned who you are? Have you ever sat down and thought, okay, I obviously am here. Yep, I'm here. Why? Why are you here? What are your values and what are you worth to the rest of the world because you're in it? And it doesn't pertain to you. You pertain to it. So that's obvious. Why are you here? Why are you you? And what can you do with it? What can you get away with? What are the limits of my capabilities in this thing we call a flesh body? There ain't but one way to find out. You got to try stuff, right? You got to experiment. That's what being a teenager is. That's why we all go goth or headbanger or whatever it is we do. Wigger back in the 90s. I don't think they do that anymore. It's probably a slur now. But you're trying on personalities. You're trying to see what works for you in here, what resonates, what makes you feel comfortable. When you figure that out, you go on and become who you are. Not everybody gets there. It's a sad thing to say, but sometimes people spend their entire lives pondering what they are, and they never quite figure it out, so they never quite do anything. You got to have a direction. You got to decide for yourself today, this is what I am. When I was 12 years old or somewhere in that area, I made a decision. Now, I don't know if you know this about me or not, but I'm kind of talented. I can do several things. One of them was art. I drew, right? Another one was martial arts. I was into, kung fu and all that stuff. And I thought, well, I'm doing an awful lot of things. I'm also a guitar player. I do a lot of things. But it's exhausting, so I've got to narrow this down to what the thing is that I am. Am I Bruce Lee, or am I Garth Brooks, or am I, whoever draws stuff? So I made a decision. I'm most identify, and I hate to use that word because that's not what I'm talking about. This isn't a woke thing. This is a personality thing. I most relate to being a musician. My father was a musician. It's a long thing in my family. I hear music in my eyes, like I see it happening, so I can pick it up real quick. So I'm going to stick with that. And little by little, the martial arts disappeared and the drawing went away, and I'm a guitar player. That's what I do. Now, I've had many jobs throughout my life. This is one of them. But I've been a construction worker. I've been a driver. I've been a builder, a painter. I've done all kinds of stuff. But I'm a musician, and I always have been. So when I introduce myself to people, and they say, what do you do for a living? I'm an entertainer. That's what I do, right? I entertain people. That's what I do. That's who Jake Johnson is. Inside and out. It's not an act. I'm really that guy. I live the part. I made that decision when I was a kid because I understood I had to be something. Remember that song, you got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything? You got to be something or you're nothing, right? So what are you? Answer the question for yourself. Who are you? Not just fundamentally. Who are you? The person that's in the mirror. The person that's going to live presumably the next 100 years on this planet Earth in front of people. What is it that you contribute? What is it that makes you unique from that guy? If you can answer that question, you are a step ahead of everybody, and your life will be vastly better because you'll have a direction to go. Where other people are still trying to find which direction to go, you're on that path. That's what you need to do, all of you. Including you, Lynn, who don't want anybody to like you. Find somebody that likes you and befriend them. Amanda says, not all women can do that. I read that one. LOL, Jake. Linda says, Jake. Smiley faces. Buggies says, I'm more oriented on working on motorcycles. Well, you're the motorcycle guy, right? When I need my carburetor fixed, you're the guy I'm thinking about. That's because you have value in my community of motorcycle riders, right? Where would I be without that guy? I'd have to learn how to fix it myself, and I don't want to do that because I don't like grease, because I'm a pansy. But other than that, you have a direction, and that's beautiful. I wish everyone did. Amanda says, LOL, I love how he threw that out there, Linda. Threw what out where? You guys got me all excited tonight for some reason. Amanda says, LOL, Bucks. Jake's chat's about to jump. Bucks Buggy says, I don't know. I kind of like the rumble of a Harley Davidson over the screaming of a woman, LOL. That might be a mental illness. I don't know. I kind of like a Harley too, by the way. I like both at the same time. A woman on the back of the Harley screaming while we're going down the road. And the Harley says, potato, 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 potato. Unless you can put them both together. See, I told you. Now you're thinking. Now you're putting ideas together. That's how you do it. Compound, construct ideas. Amanda says, I can agree, Bucks, if you have a screaming woman. Yeah. There's talents to that, too. Bucks Buggy says, I want everyone to like me. I'm a really cool person. Very upbeat and outgoing. Bucks, I believe you are, and I like you. And believe me when I tell you this, folks, and if you ever heard me ever say anything at all that you let sink in, let this one sink in, because this is important. Favor can change your life forever. Just because somebody likes you, they can open doors you couldn't open in a lifetime. If you can gain the favor of someone who is in a higher position than you, just because they like you, you are now part of that higher position because they'll bring you along with them because they have favor for you. Favor can change your life. It can make you or break you. It can turn you into a completely different human being if you allow it to. If you understand that you're gaining favor from a person who likes you and that you capitulate with respect and honor and give them the obeisance that's required for their favor. It's a simple transaction. Everybody does it every day. That's what lunchrooms and playgrounds are all about. However, if you apply that to an adult life and understand that guy's the foreman of this job, and if he likes me, I'm not going to get written up when I do stupid things. Go make friends with that guy. His favor will shield your life. Ta-da! Secret hack. Life hack number 2,700. Bill says, Jake, you have a pure heart, I feel. I think that's what you're saying. Because if it's the thing you wrote, that sounds mean. You have a pute heart, I feel. I understand what you're saying. I have a pure heart. I have something. I thought it was cold and black, but it is pure. Pure Mountain Dew. Thank you for the compliment, Bill. I appreciate that. Amanda says, I like the sound of a good... what is a lope? A good lope of a hot rod? Are you talking about the sound of the engine? I like the sound of a good lope of a hot rod over a bitchin' woman, too. I'm different. I don't bitch. LOL. I shall refrain from commenting further because I am not a moron. That's a trap. Bill Bennett says pure. Yeah, thank you. I do have a pure heart, I think. I don't know. I'm just trying to be authentic. That's a decision also, because life is full of those things, you know. You decide not to cheat, for example. Everybody seems to think that cheating or faithfulness is a moral thing. It's not. First of all, people are hardwired to be sexually attracted to other people. There's literally nothing you can do about it. Anybody says it doesn't happen is lying to you. If you are faithful to your partner, it's because you choose to every day. That's it. That's it. That's it. There's no other way to look at it. You choose to. It's your choice. You can choose to be lured away. You can choose to be enticed. Or you can choose to ignore that red flag and stay over here. You can choose not to answer the phone when the hot chick calls. You can choose not to smile back to the girl who's offering herself to you. This is a choice, and you make it every single day. Now, it's an easy choice, because if you're smart, you know that sex is just the tip, because now you've got to live, right? And if you have an established partner who knows you, who's already seen the worst parts of you, who has already put up with all your BS and is still there for some reason, and you have a life, and you have things that you like about each other, you help each other in certain ways, maybe she cooks and you work, or whatever, however it goes, that's already established. That took this long to do, however long you've been together. This one-night stand does not compare to that. This is just sex. It's mechanical. It's just, that's a hot girl. You can put your thing in it. Fine. What about this? This took a lifetime to build. This is important. This is my life. If you're a moron, you choose door number one. But if you're intelligent, you think, oh, if I lose this, I lose everything. I'm not comfortable anymore. I don't know this person. I don't know what she likes. I don't know that little spot in the back of her neck that makes her jump, because I don't know this person. This is just tantalizing. That's all it is. This person, I know inside and out. I can have an intimate moment with this person without a word, without a touch. We know each other well enough that when I wake up in a bad mood, she can feel it, and she alters the way she acts so that it doesn't further my bad mood, and I can tell when she's feeling bad. You know, all these things happen because you know each other, and you ruin that at your peril. So you make a choice. Okay, It's nice to know I could do it, but this took a while to build, and I'd like to keep this. So that is a fool's errand. That's all there is to it. That's it. So pure heart, I don't know. I'm just trying to live. I try to make good decisions. I try to follow the Bible. I try to follow what I know to be true. I make mistakes like everybody else does. I may be the only person alive that will say it out loud and be proud of it, but everybody makes mistakes. XX Root 7XX says, Am Israel Kai. I don't speak Smurf or whatever that is. So I don't know how to answer that question, X, but welcome. Amanda says, Hi, X Root, welcome. Buggies says, I can run a throttle zoom. Amanda says, LOL, Bucks. Buggy says, Can I be a supermodel, Jake? You absolutely can. There is a formula that will allow that to happen for you, but you'll have to stick to it, and it's expensive. And I mean that more than just monetarily. It's physically expensive. But if you want to be a supermodel, I can tell you exactly how to achieve it. But it's up to you to get busy and do it, because no one else will do it for you. Fab Daddy says, yes, Bucks, there is a formula. See, I told you. What it is says, wham, wham, zingers and ho-hos and Susie Q. All right. Is that your way of saying I'm not having this conversation? Bucks Buggy says, I am really good at making smiles, Jake. That's a beautiful thing. A smile goes a whole lot further than a frown. Did you know, I'm going to butcher this. I don't know how many there are. There's a bunch of muscles in your face. But it takes 3 times as many muscles to frown as it does to smile. It's a lot easier to smile. That's what I'm saying. It takes more effort to frown. I used to know the number, but I forgot. Bucks Buggy says, I am the star of my own rock video. Right on. Me too. Until I'm not. And then I realize, oh, I'm in somebody else's movie. Got it. Bill says, go and do it. I'm a doorman, LOL. I work on garage doors and gates and anything that opens and shuts. That's right on. So you know who you are is what you're saying. And you're good at it and you're proud of it, which is more important. Linda says, don't forget paying bills and supporting your husband, partner in a good times and in bad times. Women are the heart of the home. We make it a home, not just a dwelling, and that is God's intentions for us. Yes, that's why I speak about this in the word harmony. There is a harmonious way to live. I'm not saying it's the only way to live, because sometimes women have the job and men stay home and take care of the house or whatever your deal is. I'm not saying you're wrong, but there is a right way to do it. There is a way that the universe intended things to work. God intended things to work this way. A man and a woman each complement each other. They both have strengths. They both have weaknesses, but they fit together in a perfect harmony. That's why you've never seen a happy lesbian couple. And if you have, I'd like to know who they are, because I've never seen it. They are always miserable. I'm just saying. It's not wrong. If you want to live that way, that's your business. But if you want to be happy, if you want that peaceful bliss that you wake up with a smile on your face and there's sunshine and roses, you got to live harmoniously, which means you got to follow the rules that were set out before the universe and do things the way it was intended to be done. Nuclear family, 2 people in the home, raising the children together, male and female. God created he, them. That's the way it's supposed to work. And it does. Not always. Obviously, there's differences in people, and sometimes things end in divorce. Usually, because of the society we're in, has deemed certain things normal, like the plethora of women who have woke up at the age of 30 and realized They'd rather be partying in nightclubs, so they divorce their husband and they go out into the world and realize, oh, I'm not on the sexual marketplace anymore because I'm over 30. And then they've made a mistake, but they don't admit that. Then they get a tramp stamp and start drinking way too much, and next thing you know, they're 40, and there's cats involved, is all I'm saying. The problem is society tends to make things normal that are not normal. And if you follow society, you're going to run into these things. So it's good to have old wisdom. I like to use wives' tales and, figures of speech because they have wisdom. Like 2 birds in the hand is worth 3 in the bush, right? What does that mean? Well, if you're holding a bird, it's more valuable than 3 times as many birds that you're not holding, because that's potential. This is solid. You can count on it. So it's more valuable. That's wisdom, right? So there's all kinds of expressions, Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. There's a bun in the oven, that sort of thing. All these things mean stuff to people. And if you use them, you can see that there's a clear roadmap as to how things are supposed to be and then how things are. And if you can bridge that gap, you can find pure happiness. Why does it make you happy? Because it feels good, because your dopamine starts working, because your heart starts imprinting, because that's the way you're designed. So yeah, a woman will turn a house into a place you can thrive in. Like this house, for example. This house has had me in it for the last 15 years, and it's prison, pretty much. And in a week, it's turned into a house that I can live in. How? I added the magic ingredient. You know what that is? A woman. I couldn't do it. I've done most of it, but I couldn't have done it because I had no reason to. Because there's that thing. Just to smell your hair, I'll build a road. I'll build a pyramid. I'll dig a hole. I'll put sewage in a city just so that you don't have to be uncomfortable, because that's how we're wired. It's amazing. It's almost like God knew what he was doing when he put us here. And it is, in fact, a magic ingredient. Buck's Buggy says, "You're Jake." I'm just saying. What are you trying to say there, Buck? I am Jake. In fact. But what do you mean by that? What do you mean, you people? Amanda says, "Yes, Linda, behind every good man is a great woman." Amen to that. And God bless all the ladies, because without you, this world ain't worth saving. I hope you know that. I hope that each one of you internalize that in you right now, that I said so. That you are the reason that everything happens. You are the pinnacle of this world's existence. Without you, it's hopeless. You're the one thing that makes it worth striving for. I hope you appreciate that, because that is truly a gift from God. Jake from State Farm, "What color are your pants?" Red. Why you want to know what color my pants are? That's weird. Happy? Bill says, "You're very entertaining. I see your pure heart." Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Bill, I see yours too, and I'm glad you're here. Bucks says, "I thought it was behind every great man was a woman pushing him." Behind every great man is a great woman, because that great man would never have been a great man if it wasn't to impress that great woman. I assure you. Chat jumped again. I'm trying to get back to where I was. All right, here we go. Amanda says, if he's wearing any fab pants, I am, but it's equally possible that I'm not. But you saw him, so I'm on that lower 50. Amanda says, in your ramble about how men think, your BJ comment, how you threw it out there. Oh, well, it wasn't a ramble, it was a rant. I don't ramble. There is a method to my madness. But yeah, if you want to know the truth of the matter, I'll tell it to you. And it really is that way. Problem, solution, blowjob. That's it. That's the only thing in a man's mind. You can distill every thought he has down to those three things. True. Linda says, Amanda, I so wish you lived closer. I think you and I would be fast friends and cohorts. Good gracious. I don't know if the world could stand cohorts. I wish we lived closer, too, because I'd like for y'all to be friends. I think your personalities are very similar. Amanda says, you have a great heart, Jake. Aw. Thank you. I got it from my mother. Amanda says, me too, Linda. I need a good female friend. Yeah, she doesn't do female friends very often, so that's high praise. And Bill says, choices, choices. Amanda says, I don't like many females. They are two-faced and always want to mess with your man. I don't play that crap. Right on. Linda says, damn straight, Jake. Thank you, ma'am. Walter says, true words, Jake. Thank you, Walter. Fab Daddy says, 2 and 5 good peeps till we meet again. Hi-ho. Off I go. Well, Fab Daddy, thank you for being here. Thank you for the super chats. God bless you, and I'll see you next time. And Walter says, take care, Fab. I'm about to go, too. It's already like 11 o'clock. Amanda says, well said, Jake. Spoken by a true man. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. Linda says, Walter knows. You know. What's that? You know. Bugs Buggy says, I used to have a great relationship like that. Yeah, it's a hard thing to lose. It really is. What's even harder is to understand why you lost it and to recognize, I feel like I got something on my lip. Must be a mustache. Rogue hair. You see anything on my lip? I don't know. Anyway, to recognize your part in that and to recognize what caused the loss of that is the hard part. But if you can see it, I mean, if you can, it's hard because emotions run high and obviously you feel slighted or whatever it is. But if you can get far enough away from the pain of it to objectively look at the situation and understand where you went wrong, what things could have been different, what you could have said or did, what should have been said or did, what was said or did, and then you can actually parse that out and realize where the errors are. If you can do that, you can grow from that experience, and it is a hard lesson learned because you never quite get that back. That's gone. I mean, it's over. Every love is different, every single one. I've loved many times in my life, and it's never been the same ever. So I assure you, the next one's going to be different. It's just going to feel different. It's going to hit you completely off guard in a way you weren't expecting. But you'll know better next time. And when you come to that next time, if you're lucky enough, because it doesn't happen for everybody. Unfortunately, we don't live in a movie, so everybody don't get the girl. But it does present itself possible. And if it happens to you and you find that relationship or one that you think's worthy of that relationship and you can strive towards that, you can earn her favor. And if you can do that, you're better off because now you can not make that mistake. And you can see it coming because you can recognize the pattern of how it got there in the first place. So that's beautiful. Most of the things that ever ruined relationships for me, I didn't see it coming. But now I do because now I've had time to think about it. I wasn't smart back then. People seem to think that if you're smart, you're just smart. No. You get smart. You don't start out smart. You start out a moron. And then you make a lot of mistakes. And somewhere in that cacophony of horror that you live through, people go, hey, that guy's pretty smart. Well, obviously, you see what I just been through? I don't know. At some point, you get appreciated for making a lot of mistakes. I don't know why. Amanda says relationships like that are hard to find nowadays. They're hard to find any days, especially nowadays. Now you got the 4B women out there refusing to have sex with men and shaving their heads off as if that's going to make it any harder. I don't know about you, but I'm not particularly attracted to bald women. But they think that's a move, I guess. I don't know what would make anybody do that, but congratulations. You have self-flagellated your own existence. Yes, it is, Amanda, says Linda. And Maureen says, love y'all, but I need to go take an asthma treatment. Maureen, take care of yourself, honey, and get that asthma under control. We'll see you next time. We love you, and have a good night. Chemtrail Warrior says, hey, Linda, thank you so much. Your husband rocks. I sent some stuff over to you. And Amanda says, night, Maureen, feel better, hun. Amanda says, hi, Chemtrail. And Maureen says, thanks, Amanda. Chemtrail says, hey, still packing and moving, but Walter just left and he did all the hard work. Chemtrail says, hello, Amanda. And Linda says, I know he does, Chemtrail. That's why I hate that I have to share him so much. I just want him home more, but I'm glad you're good. Chemtrail says, well, thank you so much for today, Linda. It means so much to me. I couldn't have done it alone. Right on. Chemtrail says, I'm now homeless and broke with 5 cats. I don't know what to do. Get a job, lose the cats, find a place to live. Simple thing to do. It's harder than it said, but you said you didn't know what to do. That's what you do. Lose the cats, find a place to live, get a job. So you parse that out and figure out how you got to go about those things and take it one step at a time until it's achieved. And make small goals. Don't try to do anything drastic. Do something that you know you can achieve. Set a goal and achieve that goal, and then set another goal and achieve that goal. And before you know it, you're looking back at that moment where you were homeless with a lot of cats and not knowing what to do, and here you are with everything you need. It'll just happen over a gradual course of time if you stick to it. That's all you got to do. Think about it, set a plan in motion, and keep going towards the goal of that plan being achieved. And you will achieve it. Doesn't matter what it is. If you want to go to the moon, that's how you get there. It's not impossible. I'm praying for you. I hope you do better. Amanda says, oh, Jake, that's so sweet, and I'm glad I made a home for you. Me too. Don't think I could take much more of it. Amanda says, good night, Chemtrail. Oh, I've skipped. Excuse me. My bad. Here we go. Amanda says, oh, no, Chemtrail, I'm sorry to hear that. And Walter says, westbound and down. I'm coming home, Linda. Oh. And Walter says, Chemtrail says, no worries, Linda. He is on his way home right now. Chemtrail says, and I agree, Linda. He needs to be home more often. Right on. Goy16 retracts a message just to confuse me. You know what goy means? Batshit crazy, says, will Trump follow through? I don't know, but I would assume so. I hope he does. I hope that his plans are action-oriented and that he has full intentions of following through with them. And if he does, and if they are successful, we will have a great country at the other end of it. If he doesn't, or if they get in the way and cause calamity to happen in the midst thereof, his plans, it won't happen the way we want it to. So we all have got to do our parts and try to help do our part to make America great again alongside of him doing his part. If he keeps it up and we all keep it up, we might end up in a better position than we were. Amanda says, good night, Fab Daddy. Chemtrail says, love y'all. Good night, Jake, Linda, Walter, Amanda, everybody. God bless. Chemtrail, yep. God bless you. I hope that your situation improves, and I hope that you get everything you need accomplished. We're praying for you. God bless you. We'll see you next time. Amanda says, good night, Chemtrail. And Batshit Crazy says, Kim War Van Lifer. I don't know what any of those words mean. Bill Bennett says, the key to relationships is honesty. That's a big 10-4, big buddy. You got to be honest. If you can't be honest, what are you really doing? I mean, let's be honest here. See what I did there? If you can't tell your partner everything, there's no point in having a partner, right? Why would you have a partner you have to lie to? Makes no sense. Amanda says, yes, Bill, and conversations are important too. You got to talk. That's true. Chemtrail says, I'm disabled. I understand. I think someone is getting the cats by Monday. Well, see, you've already got one problem solved. So that's good. Make small goals that you know you can accomplish. And there are lots of jobs that will hire disabled people. And there's also programs. You're not completely hopeless, I promise. No matter how bad it gets, there's always some alternative. You just have to think it out, and favor helps a lot. So, you got friends. We'll help in any way we can. All you got to do is figure out where you need to go, and then the world will help you figure out a way to get there. You're not in this alone. And that's beautiful, to not be alone, because there's a lot of people out there ain't got nobody to turn to, but you're not in that boat. Remember that. Chemtrail says, they aren't my cats. My BFF died, and I took them in last year. Understood. Now, that was nice of you to do. I've got a bunch of cats here that are not my cats, but I feed them. But I understand where you're coming from. Amanda says, Chemtrail, I don't know what insurance you have, but check with them. They have programs to help you find housing. They don't advertise it, so you have to ask. See there? Somebody with a little knowledge, and she could probably tell you exactly how to go about doing that. So reach out. Ask. Maureen says, Chemtrail, look into SSI and local assistance for disabled people with housing and other necessities. Right on. MU icon is a I voted sticker. MU. Cool. I voted. Linda Davis says, I agree. And Chemtrail says, I need surgery. What kind of surgery? Batshit says, sorry, Chemtrail Warrior. Perhaps van life might work out. I don't know what van life is. Unless you mean living in a van down by the river. That has been done. I've lived in a van before. Chemtrail says, I had housing, but getting them to quit hanging up on me is hard. Supposed to be my icon. Got it. Your icon is a I voted sticker. Okay. Well, I don't see your icon. I just see the letter M for Maureen. Chemtrail says, I have 7 holes in my colon. You're only supposed to have 1. So that probably needs to be fixed. On Facebook. Okay. So reach out to Maureen if you need answers, Chemtrail. Look for the I voted sticker. Bill Bennett says, good night, guys. I hope to see you all for Bible study tomorrow night at 8 o'clock sharp, right here on Untethered Live. That's Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, Bill. We'll see you then. And Amanda says, good night, Bill. See you. And I'm at the bottom of the chat, so I'm going to go to bed before I end up being here until 6 o'clock in the morning like has happened before. With 2,671 views for tonight. That's awesome. $3.98. Can't beat that. All right. Willie39 says, hello, where do you come from, my friend? I come from North Carolina in the United States, Willie. Linda says, good night, Bill. And Amanda says, night all. See y'all tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Untethered Live for Bible study. Right on. Thank you guys so much for being here. I had a great time with this conversation. I hope you all got something out of it. I hope that it meant something to you, and I hope that you appreciate that I'm sharing my heart with you, and I hope that you share your heart with me too, and we can be one big heart all together, pulsating all over the place. Anyway, Chemtrail says, I can't sit. This is going on for 21 years. You've been standing for 21 years? Wow. I did find a specialist, though, but my home was sold, and I had to move, so I missed my surgery date. Terrible. Well, God bless you, Chemtrail. I hope you can get that fixed. That's rough. I'm sorry to hear that. Walter says, good night, everybody. And Willie says, oh, so far I come from Germany. Nordrhein-Westfalen. Well, welcome, Germany. I hope you enjoy the show. Scroll back and listen to it. It's quite informative. Linda says, good night, all. Love you all, and thanks, Amanda and Jake. Thank you, Linda. I enjoyed the conversation. God bless you all. May his blessings abound in your lives. May he touch your lives, and may he solve your problems. And may his grace and peace abound in your lives altogether. Amen. Jesus is the answer to every question. If you look, you'll find the answers. So, with that, have a great night. I'll see you guys tomorrow night for some Bible study. Thanks for watching.